This is a quick tutorial about doing a bit of animation in After Effects. This is using the programs like Illustrator and Photoshop. If I have a look at this one here, the Illustrator one, what you'll see is I've done it in layers. So that's kind of a background layer, and that's the mouth. You can see it's just shapes where one goes over the top of the other. So you'll see I've got the bits inside the mouth coming in, the tooth, that's going to be the nose, so it comes down lower, and then this bit kind of covers it up, which is the mouth. Got another bit there, pupils, we've got the eyes, except I need to slip the eyes underneath that layer. But it's important to have it on different layers, because when it's on a different layer, when you bring it into After Effects, it'll come in as a layer, not just as one file. So this one we can save this now. And then what you'll see if I jump to Photoshop is I've got something similar, a Photoshop file, and it's just all these layers. So this one I'm saving as a PSD. Now if I jump into After Effects, I've got it open already, I'll go New Project. The composition is going to be 1920 by 1080, and this is kind of the speed of it. 24 frames per second is fine, and at the moment it says 1 minute 30 on the timeline, so I'm just going to change it to 30 seconds. All of this we can change. I go OK, and so this composition comes up. I'll just move this, try moving this window in a bit. Here we go. So over here on the left, you have effects in this project window. The project window, if I just double click on it, I can open up what I want. So one, I've got the Illustrator file. Instead of it coming in as footage, I say composition, retain the styles, and it says create composition. That's like putting it all in one folder. So I'm going to go OK. And you'll see that it comes up here. It's come up in its own little window. I can jump between these windows down here. So I'll bring in the next one. Had that Photoshop file. And that's it there. Same thing. It says create a composition. I don't want it to be footage. I want it to be composition, because this means it brings in all those layers. So if I go open, edit or merge them together, I want them to be able to edit them, not just one layer. So I go OK. And this comes in here. So again, if I double click this, the little composition one, that's kind of like the group, it comes up here. You can see all my windows down here. So how you animate on this program, I can show you simply with this. We can see that it has all those layers. So what I'm going to do is, what will be the first one I'll bring in? I'll bring it in from the bottom. So the first one I'm going to bring in is going to be this land. So here it is here on the top. Now, if I flick open the triangle, you have transform, and in here you have a whole lot of what's called keyframes. And so what I'll do is I can see this playhead and I can change this. If I move it along a bit and I press position, it gives me a keyframe. Now if I go back to the start, as soon as I move it with the position, it's going to automatically put in another keyframe. So I'm moving this one down off the bottom. Oh, I don't know why it's got that bit of sky in there. That's a hassle. I must have missed that one when I made the mask. And you can see this is what's going to happen. If I pull this in a bit, so it crops it and I hit space, it's just going to play that sequence. I'm going to forget about this funny little bit up the the top at the moment. So I've got that. And so I can do the same thing. I can come here. If I hold the shift key, it snaps to that point, and then I'll bring in the next one. So I'll bring in this mountain. If I hold down Alt left square bracket or Option left square bracket, it crops the start. So I won't see that mountain until it hits that point. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to flick it open and go to position. I actually know if I just hit P, it brings up just that keyframe. So I'll do the same thing. I'll hit the keyframe, and what I'm going to do is with this one, while I'm still on that keyframe, move it down under the land. Move it along a bit. Bring it up. Now if I play it, cool. So the next one, and this time I'm going to start it just before that one gets right to the top. I'll bring in the next mountain. Let's close those. So this one, I'm going to hit P, and I'm going to click the keyframe. So I'm going to start it, and I'll bring it down underneath. I will move the keyframe along a little bit and bring it back up. The last one is the sky. And so when that hits, I'm just going to go Option square bracket. So no keyframing at all, so it's just going to blink on. So if I hit the space bar. Now, one of the main things with animation is this looks a bit cruddy. The movement doesn't look good. And so this is where it gets interesting. If I hit this and I hit U, it will show me all the keyframes in that layer. Now I'm going to use this little mountain icon just to move things up a bit, move it along so I can see these keyframes. Now this is just with the land. These are kind of called linear keyframes. So if I highlight them, select them, and I right click, or on a Mac I can control click on one of those keyframes, it comes up with this list. And right down the bottom is this thing called Keyframe Assistant. Now this is an animation technique called easing. I'm going to go ease in. What that means, and you'll see if you look at these dots, the dots are spread out and then they get closer together. What it means is it's going to start off faster and it's going to slow down. Now it's very hard to see anything happening because it's not that drastic. So what we can do is I can click on this here, which is called the graph editor. And it shows the graph for the movement of this, so we can make it extreme. So if I click on this point and I drag this keyframe, the Bezier handle, and I drag this one in, what this curve is telling me is that it's going to, and you can see the dots changing, it's going to come in fast, like just jumps in, and then it slows down. So this will make it feel a little more active. So if we watch it, see how it kind of springs in a wee bit? This is the stuff that gives animation a bit of life. So we can switch off the graph editor. Let's go down to the next one. There's those keyframes. Because I'm going to use the graph editor, it doesn't matter if I go easy ease or ease in or ease out, because I'm going to change it. Graph editor, see, this is easy ease, but it's the same thing. I can move that graph, I can push this Bezier handle in, and I'm getting the same thing. Mountain comes in quick, slows down. Jump out of there. Let's get the next one. Same thing again. This mountain, easing is such a important aspect to animation. This is when you get the kind of bouncing ball and all those things you hear in animation about anticipation and movement, all the things that make it feel a little more real. So this is gonna come in pretty quick. I'll push that curve back a bit. So I'm just changing them so they're not all the same. So this one can come in a little bit slightly slower, and then the sky blinks on. Switch off those guides so we don't see them, and spacebar, so it will feel a little bit different. Now the thing with this as well, I'll just reduce this down a wee bit, is here you have a blur. So if I click motion blur on and I come down here, I can switch it on for all the layers that I want, and we'll see if anything happens. So this one, you can see there, when it's going fast, it's a bit blurry. When it slows down, it's normal. Same with this one. See how the mountain's blurry? And this one, there's a little bit of blur, but not much. So again, these are all things to make it feel a little bit more. And the thing is as well, is you can change all of this. If I find it a bit slow, I can move these things back. Using the shift key will snap them. See, the ground will be a little bit blurrier. So actually I'll leave that one, but what I'll do is I'll make the mountain, that big mountain, a whole heap faster. So it's going to come in really fast. So this one, oh actually, and that's the sky. So I can see now. Remember this thing, I need to hit because I've changed the option left square bracket so that we don't see that mountain. So that comes in. Mountain comes in super fast. Next mountain hasn't even started yet, but I can leave that. So let's play it, see how it looks. So we're changing the quality of everything. So now if I go back to composition, I can get that land composition and I can drag it over the top. So this is now in our main frame. The background at the moment's white, but I could change that, and so that sits there. So now the wheku as well, I can get that composition and I can drag that on as well. Scale it up a bit if I want. Okay, so the land comes in and we've got that head over the top. Now if I double click on the wheku layer, you can see here I've got all these layers. So this is the thing with Illustrator, it's brought in all of those layers. So let's have a go in here. So I'll switch all of these off and have a look. So we've got the head, and I've labeled things. So I've got the pupils, I've got the eyes. So I'm going to start off with the mouth, but that's not it. It's lips. Lips is what I want to start off with. Cool. So I've got that. So I've got this layer here. So right from the start, and remember I've got transform, and one of the things that has in here is scale. So if I move it along a little bit, I hit scale. If I move back, I'm going to change the scale. I'm going to click on that number and just go 0. Tab. And so it's going from nothing to zooming in. If I move that in so I can play it a bit and see what it's like. That's the speed. So if I want it faster, just move the thing. Yeah, I want it faster again. It's a bit better. I'll make it zoom in a bit. Maybe I'll make it a bit faster. And remember, you've got all those things like whether you're going to change the keyframes and all that sort of thing and make it come in faster. So I'm going to have that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift click on this, and one of the things was mouth back. Okay, so I'm going to have mouth back. So it's just going to flick on. So it's just going to, we won't see it, and then boom, it's on. I'll move a little bit further along and I'll go to the next one. So this one I'm going to do something slightly different. So mouth front. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go option, left square bracket, so we don't see it until it gets to that point there. At the moment this is just a shape. Because it's from Illustrator, if I right click or control click on that, there's an option that says create a shape from vector. So it creates a shape, and this, if I open up this, it will have contents. If I open up contents, it has group. If I open that up, it has path. And if I open that up, it has the keyframe for path. So what I can do now is I can move it along a little bit, and I can click it, and it gives me a keyframe for this path. Now if I bring it back to there, I can, with the white arrow tool, I can click off, but now I can click on these points and I can drag them up. Okay, and so what it's going to do, it's going to draw that shape on, like a morph. And it's because I've turned it into a shape. So I can hide that, and then maybe at the same time while that's coming on, we've got our cheeks. We've got our left and our right cheek. So with both of these, option left, and I'll stagger them a little bit. So this one on the right, I'll move a little bit. So same old thing, this one on the left, I can go P for position, move it a little bit, and I can go click that keyframe, go back to the start of it and just move it so it looks like it's fading in. Second one, same thing, just move it along a bit because that's where I want it to end. P, position, and move it off. So what we're getting now starts to come in. Okay, so I'm going to jump to the big one here, which is the head. Actually, I'll just bring I'll bring the nose in if I can find it. Oops. Yep, that one there. So I'll move that a bit. Option. Yep, and I'll do the same thing. P for position. Move it a bit. Keyframe. Go back here, and I'll just bring it down so it will look like it's sliding up. I can see it drops out of the bottom of the mouth, so that's okay. So I can drag the layer. Whoops, sorry, shouldn't have clicked that one. So this one, mouth front, good, okay. So it pops up like that. So it's just put in the layer, and then at this stage I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom one for that background, and with this I'll crop it in, but I'm going to use if I hit P for position, and if I hold down Shift and S, it will also bring in scale. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move along a little bit, and I'm going to click both position and scale. I'm going to come back to the start, and the first one I'm going to work with is I'm going to work with scale. So I'm going to move it down just so it's small enough to go behind this mouth is all I'm trying to do. And then with the position, I'll drag it down. So what it's going to do is it's going to move up and it's going to scale at the same time. Okay, and with this, I'm just going to go, where are we? Eyes. I'll have them blink in. Pupils. They can blink in a second afterwards. What's this one I've got? Tongue, yeah, okay, so we'll have that one. That one blinking as well. That's your mouth. That little one there. I've got it down as tooth, so I can have that one blinking. Cool. So if we have a look at this, and so now if we go back to that main comp 1, you can see it coming in. The thing is as well is it's in here it's kind of like a group. So if I want, I can go over here as the rest comes in, and I can move it. So if I move it and I hit P for position, I can keyframe it. Whoopsie. Move it back a bit, move it back a bit, move it, and it's putting in all these keyframes. Move it back a bit, move it right back to the start, and I'll just move it all the way off. So it's coming in zigzag. like that. The thing is as well is you have your pen tool, and if I click and hold down, we have the convert point tool. So you're used to this from Illustrator. So I can curve these things around. This one I'm actually going to twist it back the front. And I'm going to move this stuff here, move the curves, make it a bit bigger, get it exactly how I want it, and it's going to follow that movement. Now I can highlight all of these keyframes. I'm going to show you one here. If I right click on it, instead of going to the easy ease and everything, there's one that says rove across time. What this does is it just tries to make it even so that it's doing it in an even way. But you can go into the graph editor and change all of this sort of stuff. Now if I go back to the head, remember you've got all of these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Command A, select everything, hit U, and it shows me everything that it brings up everything I've used, like the position and all that sort of stuff. So it just means that I can come in here and I can go to the lips, and I can go easy ease. I can hit the graph editor if I want. Make it come in faster. And you've got all those same functions. It's like, okay, I've got the lips. Do I want to switch on the motion blur? You can see a little wee bit of blur there as it comes up. So all of these things just adding in a little bit of realism. This one just flicks in, and then I've got the shape. So same thing with this. Control, ease in, graph editor if I want to. The thing is all of these keyframes, even if you don't go into the graph editor, always put on easy ease. It stops it from looking like a linear animation. So it makes a huge difference. Stops it from looking quite so jilted. This one's got 2 on it because I think this was the head. So I can go to the graph editor and you'll find it has 2 options here. So I can do them one at a time, or I can select that point and kind of do them both at once. If the graph was getting a bit small, just hit the mountain tool to make it a bit bigger, and again come in here and mess with these curves a bit. And you'll see it's going to be quite dramatic. The same thing again, like do I want to put motion blur on it? And you can see how extreme it is with that motion blur. So I'll just run motion blur up everything. And so let's jump back to the comp and have a look. You can see the blur and everything. On this stage, if I want, I can put the blur on again, and you can see it kind of switches it on and off a little bit. If I switch it off, you have the blur a wee bit, but if I switch it on, I can see how extreme it's going to be. And that's it. If I get the playhead, I'll just drag that out so I can see the playhead, bring it in, let's make it a bit bigger. So After Effects is used with a lot of VFX, motion graphics on TV, movies, and that sort of thing. So it has a certain kind of quality to it. But you can get some really good things with After Effects, especially with stuff that's photographic.